It's an era of change, of ideals and cultures constantly colliding. We need brave people who will find the way of hope in the chaos, who will elevate truth in their speech and activate reform in their lives. Lee Sloan welcomes you to this brave nation.
Hello, Brave Nation. Last time I published the podcast, it was all about women and powerful women, and we talked about She Leads America. And one of the powerful women I have here today with me on the podcast, my friend Grace McConnell, is here. I don't know if any of you have listened to, it was probably, I don't know, maybe even a year ago now that I published a podcast with her husband, Gene McConnell. Now, Gene is more upfront about what's happened in his life. Actually, he's had a movie made that was basically about his life and some other people as well, but it's called Buying Her. And it is very intense. I first met Gene several years ago, and he is just such an amazing person now. You would never imagine that he struggled with the things that he struggled with in the past. And really, he was a perpetrator of sexual abuse, really, is what it was. And this was many, many years ago, but he now is brave enough to share his story with the world, basically. And and then Grace came into his life. Grace, God's grace, but also Grace Bottle. And she ended up marrying Gene. And they have, when I first started talking to Grace, I was like, oh my goodness, your story is just as intense, if not more so, and just as redemptive as his story. And I don't think you've shared it as many times, right, Grace?
Yeah, I
So
shared it,
yeah,
but yeah.
so I definitely wanted to provide a platform. Might not be the first time you've ever shared it, but provide a platform for you because you are a warrior. You're an
Mm.
overcomer. And I greatly admire, not just because you've suffered things, but you actually have pushed through. You're not a victim anymore. I mean, you were victimized, but you're not living in that victimhood. And you're just an inspiration. And I think about anything that any woman could go through. I say women, I mean men too, but since you're a woman, what women go through, um, not many people can match the level of suffering that you've gone through in life that I've known. And to see like how full of grace you are and how um free you are. And I know I'm sure there's different levels of freedom that you want to walk in still, but I'm just so inspired by you. So why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us where you're from, and we'll start go from there.
Hi. Well, first of all, thanks for having me. It's such a pleasure to connect with you again. So my name is Grace McConnell. I am originally from Malaysia. So I've been in Alaska or the United States for 8 years now. So I currently as a coach development mentor for Authentic Relationship International, which is my husband Jim McConnell has founded
Mhm.
for almost like 40 years now in his ministry. So my skills and my I bring my story into this mix. So I have shared my story in retreats that we have did groups, and I've been also leading groups as well for 5 years now in
Mhm.
this ministry and been doing this work. What is healthy relational or looks like? How can we come out of a very complex trauma in our life? Is it possible?
Mhm.
Yes. If you do the work, yes, it's possible. So that will be my hope for every woman, every young woman, man as well,
Mhm.
that there is a way if we just open our hearts to connect to the right people in our life.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we are, we're in this culture of massive sexual perversion and and trauma
Yeah.
that's coming out of that. And the porn industry is huge, and it preys upon a lot of women, but also men, right?
Right.
And there's a victim side of it, and then there's a demand side of it. There's a perpetrator side of it. But really, what we're finding is both sides are actually victims, and because it's a horror,
Right.
it's sin. I mean, that's what we believe, right? So it's
Sure.
going to affect both sides, and so this movie Buying Her is all about the demand side of sex trafficking, is what it is. So tell us your your story from the time you were 5, and just in a nutshell, we're just going to rip the band-aid here. um,
Ooh,
and
okay.
and get ready, everybody. So go ahead.
All right. So just within 5 years of my life, I lost my parents in a car accident. I'm the only child. This has all happened back in Malaysia,
Mhm.
my hometown. So 5 years old, I was abandoned. Just I have no one, no families or friends stepped in except for my aunt, which is my mom's sister. So which it looks great, somebody is there to support or help, but in my thinking, but what happened was she was my biggest perpetrator, as well as her husband. Both of them kept me in captive for 12 years of my life. They locked me in and put a chain on me. So 12 years, like in a prison, I would say. So my entire childhood from 5 to 17, even my teenage life was all robbed by her. So within that 12 years, I have gone through such a severe sexual abuse from both of them, through rape, molestation, um, sexual touch. Um, 5 years old, I've already experienced what sex looks like.
Mm.
And, the body just went numb, confused of who you are. I was so confused of who I am. And it all started with a touch, because for 5 years old, and over time it went way more than just a touch. There's penetration, and there is I don't want to go into a graphic statement right now, but it was severe. It happened over time as I
Mhm.
grew older and older.
Mhm.
So when I reached my puberty around 12, 13 years old, uh, it's just, I went to a very numb state, because the severe was so abused, and that was a body damage as well, because my aunt, she burned me. There's a burn mark in my lower back. Even till now, I can see that mark. Um, so it was
They go to
deep.
school or anything. Like,
No,
we're
so
just there for
yeah,
them to do whatever they wanted to.
right. So it was, helpless, powerless. So I get that. I get that feeling, someone who feels they are nothing. Um, and I've been there for years, many years, like 12 years. That's just, your brain is just like, I don't want to live anymore,
Right. And the
and
names they would call you, right? You said you
right. And
thought
there's
your
a
name
lot
was
of
something else.
right. And the very first thing that I didn't know, that was a shame back then. But I was called at 5 years old. She called me, "You're a trash, you're a garbage, and you're a piece of shit. And that's who you are, and that's your name." So she's been calling that since I was 5, and
Not
all the
ever even
time,
using your name, never using your name.
never, never for the past how many years I was with them, she would just call me, "You're a piece of shit, a piece of
Wow.
shit, a piece of shit." So, and it's just started to, and I started to believe that. that message, and it's just like in me, like, oh, I am a piece of shit and I deserve this treatment. So I'm not, uh, and I don't feel human, being abused like that. So name calling and even manipulation, a lot of manipulation started to grew, started to, she started to spoke that words of like, oh, your parents didn't die from a car accident. Your parents committed suicide because you were born ugly. So you're ugly, you're a piece of shit. So that's this too was every day since to my teenage years. So
And you said race played a part in this as well? Because
my aunt and her husband, I was born Catholic, so the whole family was Catholic, but there is no relationship, or that it's just nothing. It's just that,
yeah.
oh, I'm a Christian. That's no meaning to it.
Mm-hmm.
So they are not a people that has any consideration to another human being. So they are very stoic. They have like no feelings. I don't know if someone have seen a human being like that. You can see that from a lot of serial killers, uh, like Charles Manson or Ted Bundy. They're not there.
Mm-hmm.
They just do it.
Yeah.
So my aunt was that person. She's so stoic. She's
Like a
a very
psychopath.
yes, that's
Mhm.
the word.
But
So
but
it's
did you
just
have you had a mixed race, right? And did they have the same race, or did they treat you differently based on your race?
sorry.
Yeah.
Yes, my mom is was a Chinese and Indian mix, and my dad was Indian. So my aunt was mixed as well because she's my mom's sister.
Mhm.
So she is Chinese Indian and her husband is Indian.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, so I came from a mixed race heritage.
And
Um,
in the larger culture,
that's
was that okay, or how was that? How were you treated?
there's well there's which I thought it was a plus, because when you live in a country where is dominant by Muslim, you think that you have some kind of support because you kind of represent, my family, my mom's side has Chinese as well as Indian. So you kind of think, someone will come and, support or be there for you. But it's more of the family lifestyle was more about status. If my parents were very poor. I didn't born with silver spoon. We started everything from scratch. We didn't even have washing machines or water heater. We didn't have all that stuff. um, so very poor, and they saw me as nothing.
Mhm.
So
Because of your class mostly, right?
low class, yes. So it's more based on um status. Like if you yeah, when I'm born with, as a poor, then no relatives want to take you because you don't benefit them
Yeah.
in any shape or form, because you have nothing to offer
Mhm.
per se. Yeah. So that's my whole family culture was, no, believe into. You have to have something. You have to be like somebody, or at least do you know somebody, who is famous or in status, so I can, use that as a benefit. So yeah,
Wait, Were your
it's more to
parents
that.
were your parents people of faith? Right? Like real
uh
or
Occasional
okay.
churchgoers. We were Catholics, so we just go to church on Christmas, on New Year, or
Mhm.
Ash Wednesday. There's some occasions there, so that's the purpose to go. Otherwise, it's like
But they weren't
um,
psychopaths.
no, my parents were, they, even though I lived with them like for 4 to 5 years, just experiencing them and knowing them and remembering them was very positive for me. Was very healthy. They showed very healthy parenting to me. In some ways, in today's culture, even in the US, they might say, your dad was abusive, this is a child abuse, or this
Mhm.
is, they can do that. But in Asian culture, that's normal.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not an issue.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah. I
you
have
let
heard that.
your kids like do push-ups like 50 times or 30 times, like, "Oh, that's child abuse."
I
It's
don't
like,
know.
no, it's just that you were being
Yeah,
trained and coached, so you be stronger.
yeah, we have a totally
Yeah.
different thing, especially nowadays. So, yeah, so then you got to this point. So how did you get out of that situation?
Okay, so 17 years old, I managed to get out of that house. And then I ran away. I ran away, and fortunately, both of them were not in that house, and I was able to break those chains and the lock.
Yeah,
Somehow, I don't know. I Until now, it's still
supernatural.
blur. Like, how did I have that strength? I was malnourished.
Wow.
They didn't give me. It was all leftovers food. Um, I was super thin and just like a zombie, I would say. I don't feel like human. So in that moment, I had that strength to break that chain. It's just
Wow.
wild. So I did, and the only thing I could think of is anything that I can grab, but not money, not anything. I want something that I can grab on and remember for the rest of my life. And I saw my parents' photo, a picture of
Mm,
my parents.
mm,
Um, and I quickly just grabbed that. But I only have them like when they were young. They were like it's a black and white
mhm,
photo. Uh, and I quickly grabbed it with me, and then I just ran my heart off.
mm.
Um, and I didn't, yeah. And then here I am on the street. Um, I was panicked, after 12 years, you come out, and then here you are, you're looking at the world, the noises, the car, the whatever, pollution or air, it's just, it was weird to me. Okay, so I was on the street, and just scared, and all these feelings started to just merge, the fear, the anxiety. I didn't have the language for it,
Mhm.
but I lived it. I experienced it. Just don't know what was happening, why my body is like, it's like the fight or flight mode, kind of all that. But I didn't have the language. But so my first move was, when I was on the street, I saw this church, the church that my parents and I used to go, like, Christmas, or, the church that we choose to go.
Mhm.
I went to that church for help. I just need food and clothes just to clean up myself. Um, so I went to this church, and this priest was in the building. Nobody was there except for him. Um, I just told him I need help. If you can give me food, I can do work, I can do cleaning, because one of the biggest thing my dad taught me when I was little is that nothing comes for free. You have to work for it, So, and I knew then, like, okay, I can't ask because it's going to be free. But I need to do something to get that. So I told him I'm willing to do anything like cleaning or whatever. So I just need food and clothes. And he took me to the office, to his office. I still remember vividly, even right, this moment as I'm speaking, he brought two bread and orange juice. So he said, okay, you can have that. And then what he did was, as I was reaching out to the bread, and he stood behind me and he started to touch my private parts and molested me. I'm like,
So sad.
I stopped, my brain stopped, my body stopped. Everything is just like, I can't do this anymore. I dropped the bread. I didn't even eat it. I didn't have the time. And I'm like, I can't do this. I ran away.
Mm.
I was out.
You
And that
just
was the
escaped all
moment.
of that. And then the first person you run
Right.
into. Oh.
Yeah. And it's a priest, but, over time, right now, I can say you can broad brush all priests or all
Sure.
Catholic church priests are
Right.
bad.
Right.
Now I can say, but then,
Mhm.
um,
I bet
that
you were
was
scared to
my
death of, yeah.
right. And, it's just as a teenager, I'm like, oh, shoot, this is not like, and then hatred started to build up.
Mm.
The resentment, hatred. I'm like, to me, it's like, oh, Christian and Muslim, what's the difference?
Right. Because you'd experienced
Right.
negativity from both sides. Mhm.
Right. So I'm like, I been so damaged,
Mhm.
and that's this person I thought I can trust
Right.
did this, and I'm like, how do I have trust like with people? I can't. I don't know how.
Did
So
you have
I
a relationship with God at this point? Were you praying a way out or
not really at this point. I believed in God.
yeah.
There is God because of my parents.
Mhm.
Oh, because we're Christian,
Right.
so that's what I believe, God.
Mhm.
But I didn't think of him. I didn't have a relationship with him. His God is just kind of like a cloud
Because no one
to
ever
me.
felt there
So
for you. So yeah.
yeah, so that's how I felt like, okay, so Christians are hypocrites,
Mhm.
just like the Muslim, everybody's the same. And then the hatred grew stronger and stronger. I started to hate people.
Mhm.
That came because I started to hate me, myself. And then that just kind of project that I don't like me, I don't like you. Well, after all, I'm just a piece of shit. Who's gonna like me anyway? So that belief system was in me as well. So that incorporated with what happened.
Mhm.
So all that it's like a tsunami,
Mhm.
in my brain, my body,
Mhm.
um, and pain became immune. I liked pain.
Mhm.
I can take pain, um, but I have struggled with, or I had struggled with someone being nice or someone being respectful or someone genuinely wants to come and help. I struggle with that because I didn't know how to receive in
Right.
a healthy way. Like even to think, oh, that is healthy person
Mhm.
trying to help you. But to me, it was like, I
Because you
have to
barely
fight
ever
it.
experienced it. Yeah,
Right. Everything was a threat for me. It's threatening people,
absolutely.
So it's like, and then just don't know what to do
Mhm.
and what that leads to suicide. I just need to end this. My body is going through a lot of transition as a teenager, and a lot of pain that I was carrying, and with all these emotions, I'm like, okay, I need to end this. To stop all this to go through, I just need to end it. So what I did was, because I was now still living on the street, no money, nothing, and I went to a pharmacy shop, I guess, if I still remember. It's like a pharmacy shop, and I took poison, a bottle of poison. Yeah, I stole it. um, and I drank it, and I didn't know it was a rat poison. I drank the whole bottle. It's like maybe like a mini bottle. That's how quick I could get at that time. And I drank it like minutes, hours, more hours passed. It's like, why am I still breathing?
Hmm.
Why nothing happened? I didn't throw up. My stomach,
It's a
if you
miracle.
drink even like an apple cider,
Yeah.
when I can't imagine apple cider vinegar, you take a shot of that, like you feel like, but I didn't feel nothing. Like I'm
Wow.
just waiting, like,
That must have been a miracle.
and yeah, but I didn't know that, right? But that it's just like everything what my aunt spoken over me now became real.
Mm.
Oh, I must be stupid. That's why it didn't happen. And ugly
You
and piece
failed
of
at
shit.
suicide, so you must be stupid, right?
Right. So I'm like, oh, I don't even know how to end my life. So I must be total
Mhm.
dumbass, can't do nothing. So I am nothing.
Mhm.
So the frustration, the hatred is just like in me. Like I became the emotion that I projected, I internalize it, just like how my aunt showed to me.
Mhm.
I had so much hate and anger, but I didn't know how to handle that. I didn't know how to handle that. Um, so the way to cope it was to end it by to suicide, and the suicide was a fail.
Mhm.
Then now I'm like, I'm just a failure. It's like, what do I do? I don't want to live. I can't die. So like, what? It's just a lot of confusion at that time. So,
Mhm.
um, and I tried not just one, poison. I tried that all. I drink that all, Clorox.
Nothing worked.
Nothing,
Nothing did anything. Didn't even make you sick.
nothing. Not even a
Oh,
throw up. No, yeah, it's mind-boggling to me. Even talking about it, I'm like, what?
that was miraculous, wasn't
um,
it? Yeah.
yeah. And then I was like, okay, drinking doesn't liquid, it's not working. So maybe I can just close my eyes and just cross the road and come and hit me, a truck, or we call it lorry, a lorry or car or whatever, bus hit me. And I did that. I closed my eyes and I just walked right through, and I was standing in the middle of the road. Like few seconds pass, minutes pass, and I can hear the sounds. And I'm just like, I'm not moving. I'm not moving. I'm standing right in. And Malaysia we have a high traffic. It's like just like in Philippines or in Singapore. We have a high traffic. And I was standing in like minutes, and it's like, why am I still breathing? And I opened my eyes, and all of a sudden there was a roadblock or roadwork was good. So they closed the road. I'm like, what? When did that happen? Where's that come from? I'm like, what? I was like, oh man. And I couldn't see anything in a positive lens.
Mhm.
And all I could internalize is that it's getting more frustrated, more anger, more hatred. Um, and I don't even deserve, oh, maybe the devil doesn't even want me because I'm just a piece of shit to him.
Wow.
That kind of thinking started to
Wow.
build in my brain. It's like, oh, the devil doesn't want me, God doesn't want me,
Mm.
I must be uh, nothing because the devil doesn't want to do anything with me.
Wow.
It's like, here I am, I'm willing myself, take me.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's so frustrating. I'm like, how do I do this? Like, and
So,
then finally, yeah.
yeah, go ahead.
So finally, I started to cut myself. Self-cutting was one of a way to cope and to end that numb. Um, and I took a knife and I started to cut the wrist. I still have a mark right here, and
Mm.
I was keep cutting and cutting, just like cutting a steak. It was a lot of blood. And I don't really care about pain because I'm so immune to it. And I was keep cutting and cutting. I'm like, why am I still breathing? Why am I still breathing? Um, and I got tired of it because there was a lot of blood. And I got tired of it. But at the end, I didn't know. I didn't touch the vein so I
Artery.
was cutting at the wrong side. Yeah. So you guess what? That was like, okay, you are a dumbass. You are just stupid.
Yeah.
You don't know anything.
Mm.
It's like, and I give up. Uh, on suicidal. I give up.
Okay,
I'm
good.
like, I'm dead.
God.
I'm like, I tried this, I tried that, I self-cut, and I'm like, okay, nothing works. Like, I don't know. Because we don't have guns, all that in Malaysia, so it's illegal. Or drugs. I didn't do drugs. I don't know anything about drugs, so I didn't have all that, or alcohol.
Yeah.
So I only knew what I knew at that time. And it didn't work. It's like, whatever. I'm just roaming around, on the street, sleeping everywhere, bus station, train station, everywhere,
And I know
day and night.
you were there for only a short time before you got out of into America, right? Or how long was that?
Oh, I was in the street like almost a year,
Okay.
and trying to, survive. That was a survival time. Like, what do I do? And then I came here in 1998. Oh, wait, no. 2017, I came here.
So but you had a whole badminton career too. You want to tell us about that?
All right. So it started when everything, I was on the street and then tried to find something, a meaning to life, because I gave up on suicidal. So, okay, that didn't go well. Okay, what can I do? What something else that I can, do. And I remember my dad told me, well, if you want something in life, you gotta work. So the word work really popped in my brain at that time when I was, walking around. It's like, oh, maybe I can ask for a job. So just go to
You
this
even read or
shop.
anything? Like you never learned any, did you?
I can read. When I was living with my parents, I read a lot. I
Right,
listen to
so before
music
you
a
were five,
lot.
whatever you learned before you were five, that's all you had.
Right. So when was living with my parents, we spoke four different languages at home.
Wow.
So I grew up speaking four different languages.
Mhm.
Yeah. So actually, English is my fourth language. So
Wow.
yeah. So it started from there. So I had a foundation
Mhm.
of learning. I
No
had
education
this.
beyond that.
No, because yeah, I was taken at 5. So there's no education after that. So at 17, I went to shops, just ask for job, yes, everything emotionally, it's all, mentally it's damaged, but my physical, I can still move, I can walk, I have feet, I have 2 hands, so I can do something about it.
Mhm.
So I went and asked for a job in a restaurant, and the owner of the restaurant was there, and he looked at me because I was a wreck. Because just imagine, I
Right.
was in prison, and then now I came out. The priest didn't help me,
Right.
so I just came out of that too. Um, and I was, just cleaning up in myself in a public toilet and all that, little bit here and there, try to
Mhm.
find a way. So I went to this restaurant. He was there apparently, and I didn't know he was the owner. And he was someone that is big in the society. He was a politician and a business owner,
Mhm.
but I didn't know that who he was. And I just went to him and asked him, "Can you give me a job? I'm willing to do anything. I have cleaned plates or toilet. I've done that at home. I can do that, but
Mhm.
I need food, and a place to stay. He looked at me, up and down. He was a Chinese man. He said, and it was a win-win for him because he paused it. He didn't say no, he didn't say yes. He just looked at me up and down. He looked at me, he said, you need to clean up yourself. I said, okay, but I just don't know how. I said, you can go to the bathroom, clean up yourself. We'll give you clothes. We'll give you food. Yeah, I'll give you a job. So it was a win-win for him because he can pay me cheap, very cheap, very cheap labor, I would say. But it's not a waste for me. That was a win for me too. Well, at least I get some clothes to wear, food to eat.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, you can stay in the restaurant, clean up, set up, And he said, you will not have a room or anything, but you'll figure it out. So you're just gonna, sleep in the restaurant, find a spot, and make sure you do all this, and we will give you a list what you need to do. I say, okay, that's one of the things my dad taught me, discipline and follow rules. So I used to be a rule follower, so that's kind of in me. And then I say, yeah, I'm willing to do that as long as I'm not raped or touched. They say, no, it's strictly your business. For me, I just need to make money. And I say, okay, I just need food. So it's a win-win for both of us. So in Malaysia, we have to work for a whole month to get paid. So I was paid 5 ringgit, which is what? Oh no, 20 ringgit every month. I was paid 20 ringgit every month, which is equivalent to $5 a month.
Wow.
Year.
Wow.
Yeah.
But you survived and you were able to eat.
I did. Oh yes.
Yeah.
And I felt that was like, wow, this is like a luxury for me.
Yeah. Yeah, because you were captive and anything like that. So then how did you move into this whole other world then from that? I'm sure you learned so much and you taught yourself a lot. Did you have other jobs?
So I worked in that restaurant for almost 2 years, and then I started to go to school as well as work at the shop. So I walked, 2 hours walking back and forth, just trying to do whatever I can to find meaning in life, because suicide thoughts is just not happening. So I need to find a replacement of that. So I was like, okay, find a meaning to it. So I went to school. So it was a public school, and I was told that even though I was 17 years old at that time, the school principal told me that you have to start from scratch if this is what you want. I said, yeah. But the school was all, dominated by Muslim. So it was challenging, very challenging. But I say, yes, my only goal is to study because I told myself.
You never ascribed to Islam. You never.
No.
And they probably would have wanted you to do that, right?
Oh, very much. So when I was, I was in the class and a lot of Muslim kids. And here I am, 17 years old. I have to sit with a 7-year-old primary one.
Right.
So that's how I started my school with all these kids. And here I am as a teenager, but then I have to keep my mouth shut because they are Muslim kids. Wow. They can say whatever they want, but I cannot.
Though you were so much older, you were under them.
Right.
Wow.
So, so it's like, I'm here to learn. So just stay focused, right? So I bite my teeth, I studied and I, day and night, that was my focus. Work, study, because I have nothing else to do. because my dad was that person, very focused. He's very structured person as well. Um, yeah, that's, I think I inherited that from him. Um, yeah, so put your mind into it. When I put my mind into it, I want to get it done good,
Mhm.
not half-ass, you don't do that, you want to be respected by the work that you do. People see that actions, that behavior, that character, how so you'll be respected for that.
Mhm.
um so that's one of my dad's values.
Yeah.
You want to be respected, you want something in life, you have to work for it. You're not entitled just because you want something. you
Yeah.
know
Wow.
um so that's kind of just grew in me, build that character of hard work.
So where did badminton come into all this? I know I mentioned that before.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'm in the school, and then I started to venture into sports because that's part of like me, part of um, continuing the legacy of my dad's legacy. He was a badminton player. He was a sportsman.
And it's huge over there,
Um,
right? It's like
very,
what would it be compared
very,
to here in America? Like football or
yes, it's like a Super Bowl, I would
wow.
say. Yeah, very competitive. Very, it's huge
Mhm.
in Southeast Asia. So I knew how to play badminton. So that's the thing I went to for a curriculum part of it. And I started to play and, started to win few games within the, teammates and all that. But then I didn't have money to hire a coach. So I have to coach myself. Everything what my dad taught me, I use that daily. So now I have like three things to focus on to bring some kind of a meaning in life: work, studying, and train myself. So I dedicated my life, my energy into just these three things. And I don't have a people relational
Right,
world
because
at
you're
all.
shutting down every other relationship.
Yes.
So it's just about doing stuff and doing it well.
Yeah. So perfectionism started to creep in. And I have to be excellent. I have to perform, to be seen, because that's a fundamental of human needs, to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, respected, loved. But to me, that needs to be earned, not given free.
And because you didn't have the self-worth yet, it
Oh,
all
yeah,
yeah.
right. So to bring some kind of a meaning for my self-worth is by doing, it's by performing. So that became a high value at that time. I would say that was the biggest thing. Like I have to do, I can't do it good. I have to do it excellent.
Right.
I have to do it great.
And you
So
became that, didn't you? That's
I
right.
did over time, because I put so much of not just dedication and interest from what I'm doing, because that's a way of me showing my stress, my anger. That's how I release
Right.
that
All
through
the
sports.
rage inside of you came out in
Yes,
badminton.
right. So because I didn't have a counselor, like, a therapist, or a person to person, you know.
And I'm sure it was
Um,
therapeutic
I,
in a way, right? I mean,
yeah, so play is actually a really good therapy for yourself, play and art. That
mhm.
really helps. Now I can say that, but then it's just like you got to do what you got to do. Sports, something that I was very much interested in it since I was a child. So I'm like, hey, you know what? I can do this with everything I had, with the body pain. I was still going through that pieces of that trauma, the rape and all that, but I could block it. I just blocked it
So
through
you got
badminton.
pretty far up in that world. How far did you go?
I I went to a level of district. I won the district level. I was the first seeded. They go by seed, second seed, first seed. So I was in the first seed in my district, and then I played for my state. Um, and then over time, I was selected for the Commonwealth Games, and I played for the Commonwealth Games. And after that, I think back in the 90s, that was an Olympic Games. And I was listed
An
because
Olympian,
they
technically, right? Yeah.
is that yeah, it's for the Olympic level.
Mm.
For those who are listed in the Olympics, they will get to go to the Olympic. At that time was in Barcelona, Spain.
Wow.
And I was like, because I worked my ass off on that. Everything is self-taught. Everything was self-taught, self-coached, self-trained. So I get to be to that level because athletes, that was every athlete's dream to be able to play in the
Had
Olympics,
everything working against you and you still made that.
because that's a way of me to numb
Yeah.
and block that trauma. That's how I knew to do it. So I put all my energy into this and focused into sports,
Yeah.
and I excelled really well because
Yeah.
I want to do it really well because I was a perfectionist. Um,
But you never got to go to
and
the Olympics.
unfortunately, no. Um, there was the option was given by the government. They told me that, well, Grace, why don't you become one of us and you get to go to the Olympics and play for the Olympics? Meaning to say, convert to Islam, change my name, um, just embrace Islam, not forget about your origin or your race, become one of us, and you get to benefit all this. Look at how much you can benefit. You get to go to the Olympics, you have more money, maybe you can have your own place. I was lured into that. I was tempted into that because it was shown to me. This is what you get. This is what
Yeah.
you will get. And as a 18, 19 years old, mine is like actually not bad.
Right.
My flesh wanted that. It's
Yeah.
like, hey, why not? I have nothing to lose. After all, I'm a piece of shit. But if somebody is offering me that, I must be something
Yeah.
now. So, but then like inside me, like my heart, like, no, do you think mom and dad were like this? Do you remember dad had to work 3 jobs to take care of? And then I started to remember that what my dad would have gone through out there with his job, with the people out there. I'm here, as a child at home, I wouldn't know how much he would have tempted. He could have leave us, I said, the heck, I'm going through a lot. I don't want this marriage. He could have just leave us and have this nice life, convert to Islam, marry a Muslim. He could have done that.
Right.
And that just came to my brain, like he stayed.
Mm.
You had a mom and dad until they passed away. You had that in full. Don't you dare leave what they have given you. And I was like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. I cannot change my name. That's the only thing I had.
Yeah.
I lost my dignity. I lost everything. I lost my virginity, everything.
Mhm.
I don't have anything in me, but I do have my name. And I'm not giving that away, no matter what it takes. You can show me $10 million in front of me. I'm not giving away my name.
You must have had the seeds of faith in you. You know what I mean? I mean, God was
Yeah,
with you the whole time, and
right.
you knew.
But at that point, even to that moment, I wasn't thinking of God. I was thinking about my parents.
But that
Yeah.
seed was so strong. I mean, I've heard of that
Yeah.
when parents leave early but if they leave a legacy that has any goodness in it, that's what kids will hold on to. And it'll be as if they have a parent because they have that guide.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Now I can say it's, it's a God's gift. But then to me, God was my parents. They were
And
my
sometimes,
God at that
I mean,
time. Yeah.
sometimes your spirit knows things that your brain doesn't yet.
Right. Yeah. And I was still
Something
learning at
right,
that
something
time.
good, right? Yeah.
True, true. So the 19 years old brain was like, oh shoot, now I have this conflict between my head and my heart. It's like, what do I do? It's like, I want to go to Spain. I earned it, and that I'm gonna lose my identity
Mhm.
to get this.
Yeah.
Oh, that was a really hard one. And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. Dropped it. You
Mhm.
say, oh well, you don't get to play. Well, it is what it is then.
Wow.
My heart shattered, because I put so much energy, all that
Mhm.
to get to that level. And it's not easy to be in the Olympic level, even Commonwealth. You have to have a full discipline and commitment, all that,
Have you ever thought about playing again
self-control.
at a competitive level?
At this moment, I would love to. uh, yeah, never thought about that, but that's something in me, and I'm very skilled at, not to brag, but this is just part of the journey. I have played badminton for years and coached for years. Um, yeah, if there is an opportunity, yeah, why not?
Yeah.
But I have a different focus in life right now.
Mhm.
That's priority to me.
Helping people
uh
break free of their traumas and going to school for counseling.
right. To me, the relational side of it came, I would say, just 5 years ago.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
It
This is a longer. You have such a long story, and it's a.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna summarize part of it for people.
sure.
So you came to the U.S. from a relationship online, right? That you had and with a man that you ended up marrying,
Yeah.
and he was older than you, and he ended up having was it a stroke?
Yes, he had a severe stroke. So by this time, I was 37 years old when I met this man.
And you had had
He was
no other
my
relationships with anyone, like not
no other
friends,
relationship.
nothing. Just this
No.
man, and he was kind and he was nice, and you
For
came
2 years,
to
courtship
America, yeah,
online. Uh-huh.
not knowing him, not knowing anyone else, just coming to America, maybe knowing a little bit of English.
I do speak English, so that's something I grew up speaking,
Okay, so you
English
had
and other three different languages as well. So that wasn't an issue for
yeah.
me. Language wasn't an issue. So I met my deceased husband, and he's the one who brought me. So we had a 2 years courtship, to build the trust and build that relationship, knowing like this person is real, I'm real. So it came to like 2 years, and then he finally asked me, "Do you want to come to Alaska?" And I was like, "Okay, well, I have nothing to lose." Um, but then I had to buy a visa. I had to go to the U.S. embassy over there and get all that paperwork. And I told him I didn't have the money to do it. And he sent me money, but then he was working on the slope. So his slope friends was telling, "Oh, now money is involved, she's gonna scam you, you're gonna be, you're gonna get cheated, And he sent me $1,000, which is like 4 to 5 grand in Malaysia.
Mhm.
So it's pretty big.
Mhm.
Um, so and he said, "You know what, if God, I had this strong intuition. God told me I need to give this money to this girl. I know her enough. From if she were to cheat me for 1,000, that's fine.
Mhm.
So he took that risk,
Mhm.
and
He was
he
Christian
trusted me.
too, right?
Yes,
Mhm.
yes, he was. So I took the money and I did, all the work I needed to do to get passport, to get visa, went to the US Embassy, interview by, all this official. Um, yeah, and I showed him all the receipts and, snapshot, and I showed him, yeah, this. And it's like, oh, okay. And he used his miles to get me here. So it took me like 42 hours from Malaysia to
Wow.
US to Alaska. Yeah, 42 hours. It was a long flight, but I would say that was a flight of freedom.
Because leaving Malaysia, you're leaving behind all the Islam, all the
The
just
trauma and
culture,
everything.
everything.
Yeah. So I left that and I came here, which I thought, so it was 8 years ago, 2017, which I thought everything's going to be okay. It's freedom. Yay. I'm out of it. But I didn't know I'm going to be end up living in a house where there's a lot of people using drugs. So that was foreign to me. That was a culture shock to me because I never experienced drugs.
Mhm.
I didn't know anything about drugs. Um,
Because he had his ex living with him, right?
I know. So that was another culture shock
Yeah.
for me. It's like he had
Be a
his
culture shock
ex-wife.
for a lot of people, I think. I don't think very many people could. That
I
wasn't a
was like,
normal American thing, I don't think. I
well, I thought it
didn't
was
know.
normal. So he had his ex-wife, kids, but they don't have kids each other, but she had kids prior
Yeah.
to her relationship prior. So ex-wife kids, and ex-wife kids started to bring their friends, all the other kids outside, come and jam and do drugs, get stoned, smoke weed or whatever. Um,
You eventually figured out how to put boundaries down and get rid of all the
I
people in your.
Oh yeah, but it took time because I didn't know what
Yeah.
boundaries are.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that word.
Right. Right. Yeah.
I was just shocked, like, oh, okay. Maybe this is American culture. This is normal for them, I guess,
So
maybe.
how long after that, then when did he get sick or when did he have a stroke?
Oh, so we got married. So all that got cleared, they were out, everything, from a court order. He finally, really stepped in and he said, this is not right because you have an ex-wife and you're not, not married, and you have me. It's just so confusing. So all that cleared, and then 2018 we got married. So within that 10 months, 7 to 10 months from our marriage, he had a severe stroke.
Wow.
So they medevac him from Prudhoe Bay to Providence in Anchorage.
And then you had someone to take care of. Then you had to.
Yeah, that was a whole different phase of life. Got here, got married, just 10 months. He had a stroke, and none of his family wanted to take care of him. And I'm still new going through the immigration process. I had to learn the medical side of uh, the system in the US. I have to learn all the paperwork that is needed for Brian to have that care. My deceased husband name was Brian. So everything that he needs for his um, basic care, basic needs, I have to make it happen. So I didn't have anybody. Nobody came from his family side, none of it. So now my roles has changed
Mhm.
from that point onward, not just a wife. Now I become a provider, a protector. I got to make sure we have food. I got to make sure we have this house. I got to make sure that he has all the care he needs.
I have to say a few
It's like,
observations that I'm making are that number one, you're very intelligent to be able to go from where you were to going all the way through school in like a year or something, and then having to learn all this in a new culture. And but the thing is too, I think we don't realize when we think about being a victim or, having things that are not equal to other people,
right.
it puts us in a place that we have to or else, and we find out what we're made of. Like you had to push, push, push your whole life and actually put something in you that
Yeah.
very few people have, I think, to be able to
Hmm.
survive, to be able, I mean, thankfully you weren't able to take your own life, which was miraculous because you were just that
Yeah.
determined that you were going to do it. You were going to try anyway.
Right.
But when you shifted
And
to a different mode, then you're going to try anyway and you're going to make it work.
right. And it was a full exhaustion. It was a lot of times like I cannot think of giving up because I put myself in his position. What if I'm the one? Because he's not just had the stroke, he was in coma, and I was in the hospital for 6 months with, you
Mhm.
know, besides him in the room until he recovered. So I didn't get to go home at that time. So I was with him and
And still no other relationships with anyone else, really.
no other relationship. It's only him. And he recovered slowly. And what happened with the recovery is he's had a half paralyzed, incapacitated. So wheelchair bound.
Mhm.
Uh, so we didn't have that much of a resource to have like a care for, PT or OT. We had for a while because of his insurance. And they say, oh, it's time for him to, discharge him. That was a panic moment for me because now I need to take him to Sudana, to our house. And he's on the wheelchair. And, he paralyzed, half paralyzed. He's still in brain damage, he's not fully himself. It's like, how am I going to do that? And I thought they're going to send someone in the hospital to come with us,
Mhm.
but they didn't. It's like, it's just me and him. And I don't know anyone in Anchorage. I know no connection. So it's just like, you got to do this, Grace. You have done this before, not in this situation, but you have gone through so much.
Yeah.
You do whatever. So from they yeah, so we went to Anchorage Airport. Now we have to go to Sadhana. I have to take him home. And he was sitting on his wheelchair and he was sliding. And I thought he's going to drop himself, fall
Wow.
from his chair. And I didn't have the knowledge to scoot him up. I didn't know. Like I was panicked. Like I was like holding him, like, don't go down. I shouted, like I screamed, I need help right now. This man's gonna go down and it's gonna hurt his head.
Mhm.
And the security come and, scooch him up. And then I had to hold him in the plane all the way to Sudana and then back home. And it was all just taking care of him for 2 years until he passed.
Wow.
Yeah, he passed away in year 2021.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then how did you meet? Then you met Jean, and that was through a group that you were part of?
No, I wasn't part of any group, and I didn't have any connection with people. At that time, I only had, I've known my godmom at that time and my godfather. They became my godparents over time because they were there um, through my lowest of lowest with Brian. And the way I got to know them was I was introduced to go to a Solid Rock Bible Camp luncheon meeting. Uh, so I was invited for that. And then I went there, and that's the time I met my godmom, Carol Lee. Um, and I told her, she took interest of knowing me. And then I, told her the whole situation. She came to the house, and she brought her husband, her deceased husband, husband passed away. So she was a nurse, the husband was a doctor. So they came to the house, they saw everything, and they made a commitment to,
You needed that.
yeah,
Like you needed
I
someone.
needed that. Yes, they were like three people I knew, like besides Brian and my godparents at that time. Um, and then I was in depression.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
was and I was like, suicide thoughts, came in, but then I was like, and this is all after, my husband passed away, and I was home alone. Um, and I was in bed. I was thinking, just God, just show me a way. I don't know what to do anymore. And then I received this message out of the
At
blue.
this point, you're praying now. So you must have
Yeah,
had some kind of hope instilled in you at that point.
right. Yeah. So it's like, just show me a sign. You showed me a lot of sign. You kept me alive. It
Yeah,
must be have a reason for it.
absolutely.
Uh, show me, lead me. And out of the blue, I received a message in Messenger. It's like, hey, do you want to go for a party for, my friend having a sobriety, for 5 years sobriety, she's having a party. You want to come? I was like, huh? Who's this person? Out of the blue. I don't even know this person. And she said, well, I've been following you on Facebook. I really like your journey, because I always write a little journey of my, like a journal on Facebook. She reached out to me that way. I was like, first I thought, it's a spam, and I don't know these people out there. I don't want to, risk it. And I just, politely told her, well, I don't drive. I can't go out. Oh, it's okay. I'll come and pick you up. I'm like, huh? I'm like, and she was like pursuing it. And I'm like, okay, I never been to a party in my life, so okay, fine. And she came and picked me up. We went there, and I saw first time like, and I felt like a little bit, intimidated by that as well. But it was good. It's like people connection, and I started to like it. You froze.
Oh, am I back?
Yeah, froze a little bit. So it started from that connection. So I met this girl, Brittany. She is the one who was having a sobriety at that time. And she told me about pursuing the Hidden Heart Genes Conference, the
Yeah, and
retreat.
I've been through that. I've been through his we did it week by week, but it's in a small group that you do it.
Oh, okay, you did the group. Yeah. So he had this retreat in Soldotna Christian Center, like for 3 days, I think, at that time. Oh, yeah. So she told me about it, and then I was like, and then I asked her, what is it? Oh, people talk about, their life, the trauma, and I'm like, okay, maybe this is not for me. I'm not talking about the trauma. This is the last thing I want to do.
Right.
Um, but just to be nice, I'm like, I think about it. And and at this point, it's just so empty. It's like, why not? And it wasn't cheap either. It was expensive. Um, rightfully so, because it's a retreat. You got to pay for the food, and it's for your own health investment. But at that time, in my situation, I didn't have that much to put into a retreat. Um, and then my godmom, my godparents, they said they will pay for it. They'll pay half of it. And I told them, pay half, because this is another commitment I'm making, and I don't want it to be free. So that's just in me. I don't want things
Yeah.
for free. Um, I will do everything I can, but not asking, But since they told me, so this is another thing I've learned in living in America so far, when people offer help, it's so difficult. I had struggle receiving it because
Right.
I don't want to perceive it as I'm taking or this is free.
Mhm.
Um,
Because nothing was
and
ever
then,
free for you. I mean,
right.
yeah.
So it's like, how do I? And then my godmom was, well, we are offering this. So if you don't take it,
Mhm.
uh, we're going to be offended. I'm like, oh, what? I'm
Good way to get you to go.
like, what? Okay. So that's the over time I've learned that when someone, genuinely, authentically want to help you, just take that. Um, so I'm like, okay. But then I told her, it's like, okay, why don't you pay half? I'll pay half
Mhm.
and we see from there. And she said, okay, fair enough. Um,
And so you're
and
there,
I
and all
went
these
there.
people are talking about their stuff that you would never in a million years consider revealing to people.
So I have no idea what I signed up for. I just signed up for like, okay, retreat, maybe meet new people, have some kind of a friendship connection. So when it was like a total shock for me. Well, first time I'm seeing a lot of white people there. It's like, okay, this is okay, shake it off. And then he was doing teaching and he was telling his story. That was like I had to take a deep breath on that. Like his story was first time when I heard his
Yeah, because
story, it was
Nate's
like,
story is he's a perpetrator, right? And that's
right.
triggering.
And then yeah, and the incest relationship he shared with his sister at that time, what happened that in that situation that just I just I want to get out. I want to get out. This is not the place. This is not for me.
Not safe. Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like so not safe and threatened by the environment. Um, but then I was like, okay, I didn't have a car. I can't drive. So I'm kind of stuck there.
Oh.
So I started to do the teaching. Most of his teaching made sense to me, like something I never heard of. Healthy relationship, toxic relationship, healthy boundaries, toxic boundaries.
Mhm.
How to do self work when someone has gone through so much of trauma. What are the all the tools and principles? I'm like, this is interesting. It's like, okay, maybe I'll hang out. I'll hang out. We'll see. We'll see. And I'd like to take challenges as well.
Mhm.
I'm, as an athlete, that's kind of just like, okay, why not go
Yeah.
for it, you know? And then they placed in a group. So I had a group leader. Brittany was my group leader, and everybody shared their story. I was like, that was a culture shock to me as well because I never, we never learn in
Yeah.
Asian culture. We never learn to share
Mhm.
trauma story or shame
Those are
story,
things to
all
be
the things.
right. Hmm.
Yeah, so that was like, and everybody started to share.
Mhm.
I'm like, okay, but well, one point I was like, you know what? If that person can be that vulnerable and be honest of what happened to them, and I started to think differently. It's like maybe when I share of what happened to me, maybe that will help somebody else. Give it a try. If that person can do it, that person doesn't know me and can tell something so deep like that, I can do it too.
Mhm.
So it started from that thinking, and then I shared my story. uh, they were all in tears.
I bet.
That was like, that was I didn't know how to respond to that because I never shared my story, and all the treatment that I've gotten in my so-called home country, nobody shed tears for me.
Mhm.
Nobody hugged me.
Yeah.
No, so I didn't receive all that. There was hidden needs
Yeah.
was buried.
did
you
it
know. So,
unlock something for you when they
right.
exploded, then it did it make unlock your emotions a little bit?
Yeah. So when I saw the tears, it's like, why are you crying for me? You have nothing to do with my story. Um, and they somehow related, relatable, for some instances like the abuse, or some people relate to that and they respond. So I was like, that was another shock. It's like they responded from what I shared, and the response wasn't made up response. It was authentic. It came from their heart.
Mhm.
They responded, and I never received that. And that was all like I blocked it, right? Like how my aunt kept me in captive. I kept that inner child captive for so long. So the same thing I did to my 5-year-old self. And that opened up. That little inner child of me, just some kind of a light in there.
Mhm.
Like, what is this? And I started to cry. And
Mhm.
I don't cry. My tears would dry for a long, long time.
Mhm.
And the only situation I cried was when my husband had a stroke. My late husband had a stroke. That was the incident I cried. And
Mhm.
then I stopped for a long time. And I cried for that 5-year-old me.
Mhm.
And I went home. The whole retreat finished, ended, and I got home. And for the first time, I looked at myself in the mirror. Like I really looked at myself in the mirror. I was in tears. And I was talking to myself in the mirror. I'm sorry that I ignored you.
Mhm.
Nobody cried for you. Nobody hugged you. Nobody embraced you. You are forgotten.
Mhm.
That child, that 5-year-old, you are long forgotten. And I kept you in that way. I locked you up. And I'm sorry I did that.
Mhm.
You needed that. And I cried and I bawled for the first time for that child.
Mhm.
And then I told you, give me this purpose. There's something in this retreat. It's just opened up. It's cracked open in me. And I'm going to embrace you. I'm not going to lock you up. You are not the shame
Mhm.
because it wasn't your fault.
Yeah.
So I started to have this renewing of my mind. It's just, and when I started to embrace that child,
Mhm.
I'm going to give purpose to this being. I'm going to bring meaning to this.
Mhm.
I can see why God brought me here. I can see why He kept me alive all these years.
Mhm.
So everything started to emerge in a healthy
Yeah.
thoughts. It's like, oh, this is why, you know. And first when I went there, I'm like, I'm done with this. But since then, what it did to me inside me, in my heart, it brought so much healing. And then I started to do the self work
Yeah.
to work on my own trauma. How do I deal with that? How did I show up with people? How do I communicate that? Learning all the tools and principle and applying it. And I'm someone that not just learn and just
Mhm.
quiet about it. I'll apply it.
Mhm.
If it works, then I can help people. This is work because I did that.
Yeah.
It's like I've done the work and it works. It's not just reading a book, knowing the tools,
Yeah.
and not really applying it.
Mhm.
Um,
And I
and
mean,
I've done that.
when people have trauma, I could compare, if I compare my trauma to yours, it would not even light a candle. But it's not about comparing, but it is about when you see somebody walking through so much and then you see them just applying the simple principles and realizing they can get free too. It makes other people,
Yeah.
those of us who walk through different levels of trauma, go through, we can do this too. It works.
Right.
Like it works for people. God works. Like
Amen.
forgiveness
Yes.
actually works. And all these principles that you hear, like a lot of times it's easy to keep those at arm's length and to not do that inner work and not, let God work on your heart. Because we just think, well, I've just suffered too much, and you want to stay with the victim mantra going through your,
Yes.
when it's because it's easier, it feels easier in the moment, but you can waste years and years of your life in that space if you don't push past it and get to the other side of it.
True.
And I mean, you've
True.
spent so much of your life in chains, metaphorically and physically. And
Yeah.
then there's only been a short time that you've really been free, but you've been in fast gear. Like you've been able to just keep going, and it's incredible,
Yeah.
really.
And I would say, to people who this is a choice. You have a choice.
Mhm.
What the way you choose is, for me, everything now, the decision that I'm making, the choices I'm making is based on my values,
Mhm.
not by my feelings or my emotions. So I've learned that over time. That really profoundly changed the way my perspective changed on people. But the healing, the first healing, the freedom came when I started to connect with people,
Yeah.
because you can't heal what you hide.
Right.
So I was in hiding. I was in isolation for 35 years of my life.
Mhm.
No people connection.
Mhm.
And what does that happen? How did that go? Not go well. So when I started to make that move, hey, why not just give it a try
Mhm.
with these people or with this group going on a retreat? You know, nothing to lose. So when I started to make that move, that opens.
Yeah.
So people connection with healthy people,
Right.
that kind of a connection, it brings light and life back
Yeah.
into you. But you cannot do that in isolation for
And
sure.
that's something I love about Gene's groups, because he said the group therapy helps faster than
Yes.
one. Not that there's not a place for one-on-one, but because you're seeing the community come together, you're seeing how you need to act in community as well. And you're giving as well as receiving.
Right.
How do you
Yes.
need to learn? So and then it's also male and female are in the room.
Yes.
And a lot of people are traumatized, and maybe they don't want to be around a man or whatever it is.
Right.
Having that man there, but do the opposite of what a different man did to you, maybe, or something like that, is
Yes.
actually more healing in the end.
Right. So that's what, sometimes trauma bond happens. They go back to the same, because all because of broken, we go back to the same trauma because of what happened. But if you change that perspective, make that choice, hey, what is healthy? Who is healthy
And you
people?
have to have
Oh, maybe I
examples
can
of that,
get
right? Yeah.
right. So
Real.
to replace that, uh, oh, this is healthy man compared to
Yeah.
what I have experienced. So your past doesn't define you, your struggle doesn't define you. So what does define you? Get into the healthy environment and discover the purpose, because purpose is not just like a magic wand. Oh, I have a purpose in life. I didn't have a purpose. Like, I have to discover that.
Yeah.
By discovering that is meaning um, allowing yourself to connect with
Yeah.
what is true and what is healthy. That brought a wholeness back in my life, purpose and meaning. So yeah.
A lot of people, they're trying to find the healthy thing, and they kind of go toward it a little bit, but then it challenges them too much sometimes, and
Oh
then
yeah.
they can't, then they run away, and then they go back
Right.
to people that are actually not healthy because it just feels normal.
Yes.
The health can feel scary. Like that's why I say brave conversations, because it is scary. But
It is. It is.
go into it all the way though, and you have a healthy person, you're going to come out closer on the other side if you deal with your issues, but you have to deal with them.
Yes.
And a lot of people are just too scared. So they just go back to the unhealth.
Right. And back to what I said, you got to make this a choice. Like, what do you want in life? What are you trying to find? Do you try to find a goal? Do you have a purpose, or what do you want to do? What are your needs are? You know, how do you want to meet them?
Yeah.
Meet those needs. How do you want to have? Do you want to have a relationship, or you don't want to? So start with. That's how I started. You know, starting with choices.
Mhm.
What do I want? What do I want to accomplish? How can I bring meaning back to my life? And then have that like a self-evaluation, self-assessment. What I can contribute. Like, do I want to contribute? Okay, have that self-assessment, evaluation, and then you have that, and then now you're able to like, hey, I can challenge this. I can do this. I can go for a retreat. I can go to a group.
Yeah.
And then putting yourself as a student, you know, I'm here to learn. I'm here to understand.
Mhm.
I'm not Miss Know It All.
Yeah.
I want to learn just like you.
Yeah.
You wanting to learn and understand people where they're at. How can we love people where they're at? If you don't love yourself, if you don't put that work on yourself, you can't give that.
Yeah.
So I cannot give what I don't have. So if it's empty, I don't know how to give. So I got to learn that. So coming to a point where, what do you want? So that's how it started with me. What do I want? Do I want to go for this retreat or not? But sometimes,
Chose the adventure.
right, sometimes take it as an adventure, take it as a self-challenge. That's how I like this retreat. I didn't know what I signed up for. I didn't know all the details about this retreat. I just knew, oh, it was a retreat. You're going to meet a lot of people. You're going to have friends. That was it. Like,
And you ended up getting a husband out of the deal too. So
well, that's a bonus, right?
that was a bonus. Yeah, like I mean, I watched Jean's retreats and I think it's, I do kind of on the other side of that. I do coaching with people's life purpose and help them. We have passion and purpose class where we help them find or really articulate what their passion and their purpose is. And then the second half of it is how you walk that out. But before you get there, a lot of times people can't do that passion and purpose class because it triggers things in them that they can't discover their purpose until they get all their baggage figured out. Until they can forgive, it's hard to move into your purpose.
That's true. And I can say that if when you are triggered, like for me, when I was triggered, listening to his story or other people share their story, it was triggering. And in a healthy way to deal with triggers is be curious about it and not running away from it.
Just giving you information, right?
Yes. So you are there to understand. So now, I'm in a place where I'm coaching and mentoring. So people get triggered and I say, you're going to revisit your life, but you're not going to relive it. Yeah. You are visiting to understand. You are visiting to know where it's all coming from so that you can walk healthy. Yeah. So treat trigger as a learning, like as a tool. Right. Okay, I'm triggered. It's not healthy for me to run away. Otherwise, you're going to hide it. And then you're going to have this victim mentality. Oh, I'm triggered. I can do this. I'm triggered. I can live like this. You're triggering me. I don't like you. So that's how you're going to have this pattern every time you're triggered. Right. So when you're triggered, be curious, note it down, like, okay, where's this trigger coming from? Why? Yeah. So knowing your why will help you. And don't run from it. Challenge yourself. Like I love challenges. This is something that, I encourage people, challenge yourself because you are strong. Yeah. Stronger than you think you are.
Mhm.
Give that because you have the courage. So this is something that you can empower yourself. Okay, what is this trigger? I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to come on the other side better and stronger.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
So how do people get in these groups? Like how can they get help for they're saying, "Oh, I really would love to be a part of this."
Yeah, so you can go to our website. It's called authenticrelationshipsinternational.com.
Mhm.
And you can see the things that we do. We have retreats and groups. We do counseling and coaching as well. So we, for the most part, we help people in a relational world. What is all healthy relational look like? So we guide them and help people and equip them on that. We do conferences as well, speaking engagement as well. So you can reach out to us through the website. So my husband's contact details are in the website as well. So you can call or text, that way you can reach out to us as well. Yeah.
And you guys travel all over, don't you?
We do. So that is one of, the beauty is that, married to Gene, uh, I get to taste the man he is today. I get to taste um, the man that brought so much life and light in people's life. So I am so grateful for this marriage, for this connection. And I would say it was a divine moment. I met Jean, went to this retreat, and how our friendship built over time. Um, and it also is all, how I see men in a healthy way. It's not just my deceased husband, Brian, there are good men out there. Men struggle,
Yeah.
women struggle. We want to pass through and see someone struggle beyond that. What is underneath all that someone struggling?
Yeah.
Having that kind of a mindset and train yourself in that way, and you able to give grace and be compassionate to
Mhm.
someone.
That's your name, Grace.
Yeah. Amen.
I mean,
Thanks to my mom and dad.
it's so redemptive. I see so much, there's so much fighting and vitriol in this world, and so much like, if you do this, then you're horrible and you are a bad person. And, Jean would have been that bad person to you. I mean, like,
Right.
if it hadn't been for for a redemptive God, turning everything on its head, and now him helping rescue people out of both cycles, whether it's being victimized or whether it's being the victimizer.
Yeah.
People need to be rescued, and that's the answer in our world. It's not about killing everyone who's wrong. Basically,
Right.
it's
Right.
about turning them around. And that's what I think I had a Facebook post recently. It's like, let's not just call people out, let's call people up, because
Amen.
they're not a victimizer anymore if they're redeemed out of it, if they see the light.
Right. And
People
people
can't.
want to see um, the light and also human, it's like bring that dignity back to these people and not label them. Or you're an addict, or you're scumbag because you did this. You're, labeling people that will just diminish of who they are. Um,
And it creates more
yes, I
evil to perpetuate in the world, because it's like, well,
yes,
if I am that, then I'm going to be that.
right. So it's like encouraging that
Mhm.
behavior. So we want to do a shame reduction
Yeah.
work. So I want to bring the humanity back. I want to bring that person back. And yes, this you are struggling right now, porn or drugs or alcohol, whatever that looks like, even binge eating, shopping, things that feel healthy, looks healthy, but over time, and you have a pattern and you're addicted to it. So instead of labeling, you're an addict, you're this, you're that, yes, this is the symptoms, but I want to know what's the pain. I
There's
want to
always
know the
pain, isn't there?
story.
There's always pain.
Yes.
Yeah.
all addiction, it's not based on trauma and abuse, but I can say all addiction, it's trackable within pain and wound that they carry.
Mm-hmm.
So the pain and the wound that they carry is the one drive that addiction, because that's the coping.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to bring that humane back with them. Is, I want to know the story. Yes, this is the symptom, this is the struggle. We get to that, but I want to know the story. What drives you to do this?
Mm-hmm.
When you do this, how's that make you feel?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to know, I want to get deeper, so they feel the sense of worth.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to get to know me while I'm doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yeah, because I see human, I see a person.
Mm-hmm.
I see you more than your struggle.
Yeah.
And I'm here. Let's walk this out. I tell you, that heals. You can punish people, you can put people in, but someone who is being honest and vulnerable and being authentic, that will change in a person. Like, wow, you want to walk alongside with me because of my struggle, and I'm still doing this. Say, yes, I want to help you.
Yeah.
And it's not a magic one. I'm going to give you a Bible verse. You're going to be all okay tomorrow. No, let's walk this out. Because I've been there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys. And thank you so much for honoring us with your story, all of us Brave Nation listeners.
I know it's a long story. My story, so sorry about that.
It is. It's incredible though. I had to have you on because I mean, when I first sat down and talked to you, I was like, are you serious? And then there was another thing and another thing. I'm like, wow, this girl is an overcomer. And I know that can be inspiring to people. And I just want people to hear it and for you to be able to tell it more, because look at where you are now and where the opportunities that are opening up in your life and the people that you're going to set free. I think even just right now here on this podcast is incredible. So,
oh, amen. Thank you. It's
I got
a
to
gift
even before you did. So, and he kind of helped me through a rough spot in my life. So I appreciate his authenticity and we're all fallible. We're all on this journey together and we need to have more compassion for others and ourselves. So I appreciate that. I hope this makes the world a little bit kinder place and more redemptive place.
Amen.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.